Hey guys, it's Mega B here. I know it's been a while since I've done a sit down and talk to you guys video. I really wanted to have a video out in November because there won't be another video out until the 14th of December for Voltron and the Bumblebee movie. Just do a quick Q&A in between just to like have a video out so you guys don't get angry with me. Almost a year since I've done a Q&A, so fairly recent, fairly not. I wanted to do another one just to do something in between. I got some questions from my Instagram. I got a couple from anonymouses on Tumblr. Let's get started. The first question from Instagram comes from the Bee's Knees, and they asked me quite a few questions. Love the Bee's Knees. They asked me, I don't know if you've answered any of these, but here's some. What inspired you to make Mega Bee? The whole reason I made Mega Bee is I got into the fandom around June 2011, which also answers your second question of how long you've been in the fandom. I've been in the fandom since June of 2011, so I've been in the fandom for almost 8 years. It's a long time. And I remember the first character I fell in love with was Bumblebee, and I really wanted to make a character, a Transformers OC, that was so close to Bumblebee. And I was like, I loved Bumblebee, so I was like, why not make my Transformers OC married to Bumblebee? Because I love Bumblebee so much, that's how I would show my love for Bumblebee. Well, at the time, my friend, who I'm no longer friends with because we had a falling out, she had her Transformers OC at the time married to Bumblebee, and I didn't want to copy her. So I was like, what's the next best thing to be related to Bumblebee? And I was like, mother, no, cousin, and then I was like, sister. There were such things in the Transformers universe as siblings, Sideswipe and Sunstreaker. So I was like, why not have Mega Bee be Bumblebee's sister? And from there, she became this wonderful character. So I was really inspired to make her just because I wanted a character that was close to Bumblebee in some way. So that's how Mega Bee came to be. And then we have Yellow Jacket now and Honeybee. So there's a lot of Bee family members running around. That's why we have the hashtag now, keeping up with the Mega Bee family. Because we kind of needed that hashtag. Better than the Kardashians. I'd watch Keeping Up with the Mega Bee family. I don't know about you guys. Are you happy with your progress in art? In some ways, yes. The way I draw people, I'm very happy with the way it has changed and developed. I started really drawing people when Voltron Legendary Defender came on Netflix because that show had such a cool style and it pushed me to want to draw the characters better. So if I look at when I first started drawing people officially when Voltron came out in 2016 to now, there's been a huge progress. I remember my first Shiro doodle, which I still have, to my current one. You can see there's a huge difference in just 2 years. Even if I look at my Shiro from back in January to now, there's a huge difference because when you're so passionate about drawing something, you practice nonstop. I'm very happy with my human progression of art, working on that hard as I can. I still need to figure out body proportions and arms and legs, but faces I feel like I'm getting somewhere. With my Transformers art, I feel like it has suffered a little bit because I've been practicing so much on people. I've been wanting to draw people more than robots right now because for the longest time, all I drew was robots. But then all these characters that I loved and all these stories that I loved that were mainly people-oriented, and I wasn't able to draw them because I couldn't draw people. Now that I can, that's really all I want to draw right now because I've lost all that time. Now I want to make up for it. I'll never stop drawing robots. There may be times where I draw people for more than I draw robots, but I drew robots from 2013 to now, so I've only been drawing people for the last 2 years, so you can see why I want to draw more people at the moment than anything else. But I'm happy with my progression. In some ways I am, in some ways I'm not. There are still a lot of things that I'm working on because I've come late, especially into the digital art scene. I have come very late, so that is where I need to put a lot of my progress. I love watching people do it and I love the digital art, but just the feeling of the paper, the texture of the marker, smelling the marker, collecting all the art supplies, collecting sketchbooks. I've always loved traditional art. I don't think I'm ever not gonna love traditional art more than digital, but I will do it because that could be that's the future. It's digital art, so I need to work on that. Do you feel you're improving more rapidly by being in art school? I would say yes and no. My line quality, the way I look at colors and the way I look at shapes has gotten better since my 2D design class, Drawing 1 and Drawing 2. In Drawing 1, we used a lot of mixed media, ink wash and watercolor and shadings and pens and charcoal, and so I've been looking at using these different mediums to my advantage. I think art school has really helped me in many ways in my Drawing 2 class. I've looked at color a lot differently because if you look at a piece of fruit, it's not, of an apple, it's not just red. There's a little bit of green, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of brown in it. It's not just red. There's different shades of red, different tones, there's shading, there's saturation, there's desaturation. And so it's helped me really look at color and see that it's not just one color. And it's helped me to look at like highlights and shading and really look at a color and look at a section and be like, is this just brown? Or is it brown, a little bit of pink, a little bit of green? And that's helped me with my color theory, I feel like. I'd say I've learned a lot since starting art school. And I know a lot of people say it's a lot of money to go to college, and I can understand that. But honestly, if I look at my progression from starting college to now, I would honestly say it's helped me quite a bit. It's hard to explain how it's helped me, but it really has. Like, my line quality has become better. My watercolor is now being better because I'm looking at real watercolor and be like, is this good? Like oil pastels, I'm learning to see color. I'm learning how to use different mediums to my advantage that I'd never used before. And honestly, I think it's really helped. I mean, my school is not really an art school. It's a university. So there's all kinds of different majors, but it has its own building for an art school, which I'm glad that it does. If you could go on a date with any Transformer, who would it be and what would you do? Oh God. I mean, my obvious answer, it's gotta be Blur from Rescue Bots. I love Blur from Rescue Bots so much. I mean, I love Bumblebee and I love Optimus, but I feel like Bumblebee, he'd be a lot of fun to hang out with, but like I gotta go with Blur. Just 'cause he's like my robot husband. We've established in our group chat he's my robot husband. And I love him so much. I'd probably just go racing with him. I'd watch him race. I'd race with him. I think he'd be interested in like me drawing, and I think it'd just be really fun to hang out with him. I think we'd probably go racing is all I can think about. Racing. Maybe, you know, set him up on a date with Sideswipe, you know, just saying. I'd love to go hang out with Blur. Rescue Bots Blur. Just go race with him, hang out with him, hear his stories about racing, and it would just be wonderful just to spend any time with him, just to like sit on his shoulder, like cuddle up to his face. It would just be wonderful. It would be a whole lot of fun. The bee's knees last question is pancakes or waffles? I like making pancakes and I'm really good at making pancakes, but if I had to pick one, I gotta go with waffles. I've always loved waffles. The next questions come from the life of a bookworm. She asks, do you ever see something at school and immediately think of that something that has to do with Transformers? So Nutella or Hershey's? To answer the last question, Hershey's. I don't like Nutella. I've tried it. I don't like it. I'm one of those people where I like my chocolate to be just chocolate. Like, I can handle crisp, like a Crunch Bar, fine. Milky Way, yes. Three Musketeers, fine. I see people mixing fruit and chocolate or nuts in chocolate, I get triggered. I don't like it. There have been a couple things that I've seen at school that I do think of Transformers. Classmates in my my drawing 2 class that remind me of Transformer characters. One of them is like so sarcastic and like cocky, and I'm like, you're Sideswipe. You're RID Sideswipe. Sideswipe? There's another person in my class who like has to follow all the rules, and I'm like, you're Strong Arm. You're totally Strong Arm. They clash, and I'm like, yeah, that's Sideswipe and Strong Arm in a heartbeat. But I don't really know if anything reminds me of Transformers Sides for some of the classmates I have, but other than that, not really. Next question comes from Imagination Freak. What/who inspired you to be an artist, and what would you do if not art? I think one of the biggest inspirations that I wanted to be an artist is because I've always been creating things. I've always created things. Since I was a child, I would draw art, make coloring books, because of like, I would like turn these... I was inspired by Eric Carle right away growing up. The Very Hungry Caterpillar, Brown Bear. I just really liked his art style, and I really wanted to create things like him and these cool, elaborate, colorful stories. Another inspiration, I think, was my grandma, my mom's mom. She did a lot of art growing up. She used to like make little wooden houses and paint them, and they were the coolest things ever. She used a lot of fabric paint, watercolor. She was so good at it. I remember being like, I want to make art. I want to make pretty things like her. My dad, he's a really good artist as well. He was a huge inspiration to me, and I would say he's one of my biggest supporters now. He encourages me quite a bit, and so I would say he inspires me. TV shows inspire me. Voltron inspires me quite a bit. Like, as you have seen, it's inspired me to want to draw people more. So, like, I'm just saying. So my dad, my grandma, Eric Carle, Voltron, and a lot of other places inspired me to be an artist. What would I do if not art? I would say probably be something to do with, like, sociology and psychology, just because I really like analyzing people and figuring out why are they this way versus this way. And in high school, I took a bunch of sociology and psychology classes, so something in the sociology, psychology field. So try something with that. Maybe be a therapist, because I'm pretty good at giving advice. So maybe like a motivational speaker, but then I don't like speaking in front of people because I have stage fright and social anxiety, so that probably wouldn't work either. Thank you guys for submitting all of your questions. I really appreciate it, and thank you guys for just supporting me and what I do and everything that I've done and just me as a person, because like I remember back in middle school, I was like, no one's gonna ever care about me this much, and I wasn't really that important. Now that people think when I comment, but now I have people who when I comment on their stuff like, oh my god, she noticed me, and I'm like, what? I'm not important. So the fact that people really love me and care about me and really support what I do and like are happy when I can message them and just a little comment makes their day, it really makes me happy. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you with another video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.